you know, we've known of you since the LVD days when we were powerlifting, whatever. And like, you've always been on that entrepreneur grind. And like, my question is, what made you go in the direction of, is it Sayer Group?
Sayer Group,
Sayer? Yeah. Like, what put you in that direction? Like, first of all, why real estate? But then why your own brokerage instead of just being an agent? Or like, what kind of put you there?
Yes. So just some clarification. It's not my own brokerage.
Okay.
It's just a team.
Okay.
So it's more so a brand.
We're
still under Remax.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that works. Is that like, is that a common thing? Like, for example, like the Walker Group, is that
Remax.
a brokerage or same thing?
Remax.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's more of a branding play.
I see.
So how it works. So when I got into real estate, my goal was to have a brokerage. Just because like it looked cool. It's just like what everyone was doing, you know?
Okay.
And then it wasn't until I took my broker course, then I realized I don't want to own a brokerage, because owning a brokerage, you have compliance, you have liability, you have a lot of risk, right? And I'm like, okay, what do I like about a brokerage? I'm like, okay, the branding, the team, you know, like doing your own thing, the marketing. And I'm like, I could do all that with a team.
Yeah.
Instead of a brokerage. So I have a team. I could do my own brand, my own logo, but I have a powerful brokerage that backs me up in terms of compliance and liability, and even help, and even just having a group of people like all working towards each other. Yeah. Because our brokerage is actually Ontario wide, and they actually opened an office in Florida now. Oh wow. So technically international.
I see. And so there's a lot of benefits there. And like, you just didn't see the plus side to doing that all yourself.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So what's the benefit of having a team though?
The benefit of having a team?
Yeah.
It is making it a business instead of a job.
Okay, see, I was right. That's what I was telling you. Because my theory was like, if you are just a real estate agent, you just have a job. Whereas if you have like a brokerage or like a team, then it becomes a business. It can operate without you in it, right?
Yes.
So, okay,
because that does make sense. Yeah, you're not building your brand, you're building the company's brand, and whether you're selling or not, it all works out.
But there are still some people who have a team more for support. Yeah. So they just have an abundance of clients, and they just need help servicing those clients. That is like a person who just loves real estate. But then the business route of a team is having someone who likes the business side and growing the business and training realtors and doing marketing, doing sales, but you don't necessarily have to be the one doing real estate. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of different options.
Yeah. I guess, clearly I didn't really understand how that worked. I always thought it was like these groups are just their own brokerages and stuff. I thought it was just kind of a simple two options.
Yeah, a lot of that is popping off now, because I remember when growing up, all I would see was like Grapevine, Remax, and like all the other ones. But now there's just a lot of like other brands. Like Walker.
I can't think of any other than Remax. Like, and all these teams are just under Remax now.
Did Grapevine die?
I don't even know what that is.
Kind of like went away, and then there was Purple Bricks who took it over.
Purple Bricks,
yeah, that market share of for sale by owners, and then now it's kind of like unreserved, but they have their own kind of business model too. So there's a lot of like changes, but honestly, it just comes down to the person and the team that you trust. Yeah, and then the brokerage is a plus. That's just kind of how I see real estate.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. I think. And when did you start Sayer Group?
So officially launched this year.
Oh wow,
so almost a year.
Really?
But
man, I must say your branding, before you to interrupt, your branding is fucking sick. Like you guys, the color palette, your website, is honestly amazing, bro. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but like each of their like bio, like each person, they have like a little timeline. And like their accomplishment, and it's sick, man. It it updates every like 2 or 3 seconds or something. It's really nice.
Honestly, shout out Mal. She is the marketing genius and wizard. Man, she did that website.
She did it herself.
She did that.
Yeah. But we use Showtime showing. No, that's real. Show It. So right now, like that's the back end. It's like a
real estate platform.
It's not real estate at all.
Oh no.
No. It's just like the platform she prefers right now. Okay. It's similar to like Wix. And like Shopify, but Shopify is more product. Anyways, man, she is so quick. Like I keep telling her, I'm like, you need to record yourself doing this. Have you seen the TikTok where there's like a little kid and he's doing like he's making a beat, and then it's like, what happened to like rank beats became ranked? Have you seen that?
I don't think I have.
No, this little kid's like making like a really crazy beat, but people are joking that he's like playing a video game, but he's making beats with it.
I see.
Anyways, but Mal, she is so good at that stuff. And fun fact, our brand and our logo was built by the same designers as LVD.
Really?
Yeah, no so that's why you really like it.
I guess so, eh?
We work with the same people.
No, yeah, like there's something there. But I guess, yeah, if Mallory's really behind the visuals of it, like the design, because, yeah, there's just something about it, the color scheme, the way it all ties together. It's like, it's deeper than most websites where, like, you know, you have your main color and the accent color. But it's like, I noticed there's like some photos in the footer and they all tie in just slightly, what it is? And it's like so nice.
I think I figured it out. You know why I really like it? Because it really targets your target audience.
That's it.
Which is your first home buyers, right? Yeah. Relatively younger people and whatnot.
That's so true. Yeah, it's so different than your average like real estate site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow. It's like, it's fun and playful and it makes you want to just like scroll through.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So just this year, I'm actually surprised by that.
Okay, we launched the brand this year.
Okay.
But I had the team since last January, essentially. Okay. Right? So like we were just operating behind the scenes, still kind of under my name.
Yeah.
But the brand didn't launch until this year.
Okay. And have you been doing real estate long before that?
No. Well, before the team?
Yeah.
I'll be 5 years in April.
Okay.
So
wow, it's been that long?
I know, it's wild.
Because you got into real estate after you closed off LVD, right?
Yeah, so
it's been 5 years.
I know. We're actually at a really interesting time right now with me and Mal in business because we're approaching a time where we're in our current business longer than LVD now.
Okay.
But LVD actually feels like such a long journey. I don't know why. Maybe because it was like our first business or we were younger. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
the time that it happened, I think, plays a big role.
Yeah.
No, but I think you know what it is because you built the foundation of what it is to build a business during LVD. And then now you're just basically bringing that over with your new business. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Because like your first business, you learned so much, right? And then the second business, and I tell Mason this all the time, like if Mason and I were to start a new business, we would skip like the first 2 years of struggles that we went through, right? We'd skip through all that and we'd just get to the good stuff right away, right?
Yeah. You know so much to start fluff. With. So with LVD, like, like how much of that was a learning lesson? Was that your first business for both of you and Mallory?
Yeah, first official business. Okay. But when I reflect on my upbringing and my journey, I actually started doing some side hustles in high school.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it started.
That entrepreneur has always been like in your mind.
But I didn't know it was a business. Yeah. I just wanted to make money.
Yeah.
Right? Like since grade 7, I've been cutting my own hair.
Okay.
And it wasn't until high school where some of my friends were like, cut my hair? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
So like I would just like cut people's hair in their garage just for like a couple bucks, you know? It wasn't bad. And then at the time, BlackBerry was like the phone.
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about this somewhere, but it's tell it because it is cool. So interesting.
So I found this opportunity where BlackBerries were only selling black or white, their colors, right? People love different colors. And I found a website from China where you could bring in like housing. So just like the case, not even the case, like the shell of the phone.
Yeah.
So I'd order different colors and then I would sell it to people and I'd also install it for them.
Okay.
So you'd pay for the shell, but you'd also have to pay to install it.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't making bank or anything, but I had that mindset of just like, how can I make extra money?
Yeah. That's the difference, I think, because it's just about being in that headspace, like not, oh, this isn't going to make a ton of money. Why bother? It's just like, oh, it's fun. Let me do it. It's something to do. And I make a few bucks to like buy lunch one day. And like,
were you around any entrepreneurs?
No.
Growing up?
No. So like, it's funny enough, like my family, they're very like blue collar, like hardworking, but they weren't like no office jobs or anything like that. But my aunt, she was an accountant. And she, in a way, was the most successful person in my family. So when I was trying to figure out what to do in university, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to her, you know, like get some advice. And I'm like, hey, I might try accounting. So I went the accounting route in university, but that was it. I wasn't around anyone in business. Yeah, my uncle had his own business though, but he was in Toronto. Okay. So like I didn't really see much of it. I knew he was like, he provided well for his family, but that's pretty much my exposure.
Yeah, I mean, and back then too, it's not like now where you see a lot of like content creators or people like doing Shopify business, drop shipping, you know, like back then, if you had the entrepreneur mindset, it was like only you, like you were an outlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody was drop shipping back then or anything.
True.
Well, man, in high school, when you heard of like entrepreneur or like business owner, I thought Google, Amazon, like Apple, like the big companies. I'm like, I don't know if I could ever do an Apple, you know what I mean? But like nowadays, like being an entrepreneur is like such a different definition.
It's insane. I was always saying this, like now in a way, like if you're in high school, it's like social media is telling you, like, if you're not a millionaire by 21, you're just failing. Like, it's so crazy how much it seems like just everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
It's such a different way that people are growing up now. And I'm curious, like, what will come out of it? Like, either everyone just copying each other, or everyone trying things, and then we're just gonna have some really interesting products and services and companies come out of it. Like, it's such a different time right now than when we were in high school.
But it is nice though, like, even if you don't like completely become an entrepreneur, but like doing anything entrepreneurial in the beginning teaches you a lot of things, right? It's you build so much foundation about like even just going through like the bad stuff, you know, like just figuring things out, you know, like when we first started, we wore every single hat. When we got the studio, we wore every single hat. We were construction workers. We were doing sales. We were doing everything, right? Like, it's just so crazy.
So one of my favorite YouTube accounts is Steven Antonioni, I believe is his name, aka Cash College. So he's a personal finance guy, but kind of transitioned into finding fulfillment in life. But he's like really sick of cinematography, if you want to see it. Anyways, so he has this one video, and he talks about the new era that we're in, and he kind of goes through each era, and he explains it pretty well. It's really cool. So I don't know the exact era, but like it first started off as everyone was in a way an entrepreneur, right? You had your masonry people, you had your people who cook bread, right? You had like certain jobs and tasks per like industry, I guess you could say.
Everyone fulfills that role in the town.
And it's an exchange of value.
Exactly,
all the time,
right? And then you were kind of like your own boss, right? Because you did your own thing and you became known for what you do. And then like the Industrial Revolution came along, and then like factory workers, where entrepreneurship went away, right? It more went to corporations or like bigger single players managing everything. But then now with information and the internet, it's kind of going back.
That's actually really interesting.
You should watch the video.
That's very, very interesting. Because literally, like you said, like it used to just be an exchange of value, and now it's almost like it's like a mind-blowing revelation to just say business is an exchange of value. It's not like you're not trying to sell, you're not trying to force. It's just, I have something that's valuable to you, you have something that's valuable to me, and that's it. And we're kind of, we're just going back to that.
And honestly, that's one thing I really love about entrepreneurship and just having your own business. Because I think I told you this one time, it's almost like going back to the olden days of like becoming hunter and gatherers. Because now if like you have your own business, like you control your paycheck, right? If you just sit around and do nothing, you're not going to make any money. But if you go out and hunt, look for clients and just kill it, you would literally just make so much money, right? It's like you'll get abundance. And it's like, it's modern day kind of like bringing it back almost in some way. And I really like that, because you got to hold yourself accountable, right? And like for you, like one thing that I'm really, I actually want to ask you is that like your girlfriend, Mallory, is like a entrepreneur, like crazy entrepreneur, but yet you guys are also like in a relationship. How does that like tie in? Because like there's always a saying, never do business with your friends, family, and your partner. So like how are you guys able to balance this?
That's a great question. And it is probably one of the biggest factors to where I got to where I am today, to be honest. So funny backstory, we met in 2014 and we were just friends. And then we became like gym partners. So we were like working out together. And she had a class project to make a business. I wasn't in the class, but for some reason I'm like, can I help you? And she's like, yeah, but Prof said you could help. So then we were just like, just thinking of random ideas. Like LVD, like the clothing brand, was the second idea. We were going to do a subscription-based supplement company first. Too much logistics, so it didn't work out. And then LVD kind of started, but at the time we weren't really seeing each other. We were just friends, and then got to a point where I think she was seeing someone, and then we were kind of like in a weird spot, but she's like, I don't know where we're at, but we could still do the business together. Anyways, we ended up having a good talk, and then ended up dating. But we started dating right when we started our first business.
Wow. So that's just been the whole relationship.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
That is, but no, like
it worked out though.
Yeah. But I'm sure
that reminds me of like Alex Hormozy and his wife Layla. That's like so apparently like on their dates they would just have like doing work, you know, like a coffee shop.
Like one of the early dates apparently was like, he's like, this might not work out, but I think you should work with me either way, regardless. Like
I mean, there's like good and bad things, right? Like since we're always together, we can always talk business, which is really cool, but sometimes it's hard to stop.
It's hard to separate.
It's separated, you know. So something we're always working on, but definitely like I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Like how do you deal with that though? Like are there times where like there's like business stress and then also like personal life stress? Because like for me, like with my girl, like I could have a lot of stressful things with business and whatnot or work, but then like when I see her, I'm able to separate that, right? And then but like for you is like relationship stress, and then on top of that like business stress. Like how does that play out?
To be honest, we don't have any issues with our relationship. Barely have any issues, and if we ever have any arguments, conflict, it'll all be business. But it's not a bad thing. It's just that like we'd encounter stressful situations, you know, or have to make tough decisions. But it was never really a relationship issue, which was really nice.
That's awesome.
And we've just always been able to grow together and just work things out.
Do you have times where like on Sundays, no business talk, we just hang out? Do you have rules like that, or is it just you just let it go and it just works?
No, it just kind of works. There are times where let's say we'll go like on a walk. We could be like, can we just like not talk shop and just like enjoy our walk, and that's fine, right? Or sometimes like one person might feel really overwhelmed and they just can't talk about business right now, and they would just communicate that, and we're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's good.
That sounds like a dream team.
It does. Honestly, it really is. And like we mentioned, you're like, we just love the visuals, the marketing stuff, but also like even back in the LVD days to now, you're big on content as well. But like, what is kind of your strategy with bringing in leads and stuff? Is social media a huge part of that, or is that just a small chunk, or what's your approach there?
Yeah, so I was looking at my lead sources for all my deals actually since I started, and 35% came from social. Okay. And social more so means I don't have a relationship with you already. Yeah. Like if you guys have been following me and I didn't know who you were and you just reached out, that would consider like a social lead. Yeah. But then I also have a sphere. So like if I have a friend who I've known for like 5 years and then they want to do a deal with me, right, then that would be a sphere. But that's where it gets tricky because my sphere also follows me on social. Yeah. So I feel like me doing stuff on social makes my sphere want to use me. Absolutely. So it's like really hard to say. But when you combine the two, it's 65% of my business. Wow. Is social in my sphere. Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee the social played a role for the people who already know you. Like, so it is social. Huge. Regardless.
Yeah,
so.
I could pretty much say it's all social.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And still, like, we barely, if any, we don't really spend on paid ads. Wow. Even with LVD. LVD was more the cherry on top. So if we had a launch or a sale, we would push ads, but that's it. Like, we just on off, right? Yeah. And with real estate, I tested it out a little bit. I didn't really like it, and it wasn't really working, so I just stick to organic, and it just worked out.
Yeah, I want to circle back to LVD. Why'd you guys close? Because like you guys were killing it. You guys had crazy sponsors. You were
sponsoring the meets. Like you're in the community like very heavily.
LVD in every single banner on like powerlifting meets. Like what happened with that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. What ended up happening? So Mal had a few health things, and she ended up stopping powerlifting. Right. So she kind of got out of it, and then I was still training and I slowly got out of it too. And for both of us, the gym was like our sacred spot where you could just like let everything go, you know, really be present and enjoy your time. And over time, especially when we went full time. And so I know you guys might run into this when you go full time, but when we went full time, it just mixed our happy place with work. Yeah. So then your happy place just became a place of stress and a place of work. Right. So that was like one part of it. And then like we were both strong. So people expected us to do well when we competed. Right. And then it was added pressure to us to train. So it wasn't fun to even compete as much anymore because we needed to perform. Yeah. And I'm like, am I doing this for myself, or am I doing it for my business or for the people on the internet? You know, so it was like, it got really hard. There was like a lot of pressure.
Okay. It like takes away the choice. It kind of makes it like, you can't tell do I still choose to do this, or is it only because I have to? Like, it removes the magic a little.
Yeah. And it was tough, honestly. And again, it got to a point where we were just assessing the industry, assessing the 2 full years that we did full time. And I'm like, this is not fulfilling me the way I thought it would financially. It was great. Like, we were traveling North America. We had a ton of friends. We were doing a lot of cool things. But if I'm being totally honest, we were paying ourselves minimum wage.
Okay, I was about to ask. So, I mean, I'm honestly surprised to even hear you were full time at LVD. That's insane. Like, that's very cool.
What's the profit margin on that for clothing?
Yeah, so for clothing, it was about 50%.
Okay, that's not
bad for the item. And then you have all your other costs.
Yeah, shipping.
Shipping was big, right? Shipping, operating,
sponsoring the events,
travel to the events.
Travel, that would be a big one.
Yeah. So profit, I would say, is around 20%.
Okay. That's more what I expected.
It's still not bad.
It's not bad. It's not
in
bad.
clothing, that's like somewhat average. Like, especially at your size, that's probably great. Like, at that, like, until you get to really a huge scale, like, it's hard to really increase that margin in clothing.
Right. And then, like, it was also a popularity contest because our apparel was a brand and there was no technical, like, it was not like we're Nike. We didn't have dry fit tech or anything, right? It was just a logo.
Yeah.
So every day you could just not be cool anymore.
Yeah.
So again, it's another added stress. I'm like, damn, like, you always have to stay on top of trends.
Yeah.
And at the time too, we were becoming more minimalistic. And then I'm like, damn, we're really contributing to fast fashion because of how many launches we were doing, you know? And like, some people would buy every launch. Shout out to those people. They were great. Our number one supporters. But like, I'm like, do you really need another LVD shirt? You know? And like, we had a ton of shirts.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't even need another shirt, right?
So it actually became like a moral issue where you didn't even want to be selling this much.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit,
wow,
you know?
That's interesting.
So that's powerful, actually, for you to be able to step back and be like, you know what, money is great or money's flowing, but this doesn't go.
Money wasn't flowing.
No. I mean, like,
if
it
like,
was, maybe
I could put morals aside.
No, for sure. But I mean,
everything.
but I mean, it was like business was moving though. You know what I mean? People are purchasing and whatnot. But for someone to be able to like take a step back and be like, you know what, this doesn't align with myself. Let's step out.
Yeah.
That speaks volume.
And for sure. And I remember this one time too when we were like, damn, this is hard. We just had an amazing fall launch. We had the best launch we've ever had, right? And we loved all the designs. And then all of a sudden we had to turn around and make the winter design.
Yeah,
we were
right
like,
away.
Man, we're like living on the high of the fall. And like, we can't even, we were creatively burnt out. So we're like, man, I don't even know what products we're going to make. It seemed like we were forcing it, right? And when it wasn't our full-time job, when you would make one sale, you'd be so happy.
Yeah.
You'd be like, man, like someone bought a shirt, let's go. And when it was your full-time job and you had credit card bills to pay and stuff, we do like a 20K launch and we're like, oh, we still need a little more, you know? Like, it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, it's that mindset shift. And like as young people, like it was a lot.
See, this is what's crazy because like this is the things people don't see on the back end, right? Because on the front, like for me, like as a viewer, like I was in high school while you guys were doing this. I was like, wow, these guys are so successful. They got like the strongest man on earth. Like you know, who was that guy? Optimus Prime?
Ray Williams, yeah.
Yeah, Ray Williams, like deadlifting, squatting like over like
1,000
pounds. Like, wow, like they're really making it big, you know?
Yeah.
But then like you don't, behind the curtains is like.
It's like an iceberg, right?
Yeah,
like, you only see it a bit. And in a way, like I still consider LVD super successful.
Yeah.
Because there's other metrics of success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it just, we didn't end up continuing it. We almost sold it to someone. So yeah, we had a buyer.
Really?
But we were talking to our mentor and our lawyers and accountants, and it just wasn't a good enough payout for the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're like, okay, so then now someone else is going to run it. We don't know. We don't have control of the brand. Like that's our reputation in a way, right? Because it was so us.
Okay.
So we were like, maybe we'll just keep it.
Wait, did they want you guys to be involved still?
A little bit. Yeah. So they did want to, so that was the hard part too, you know? And then we also morally, we weren't sure if it could survive without us.
Totally fair.
So like,
I honestly kind of agree. Like it was very much just a community around you guys and like the team and everything. Like, I don't know if it could. Are you comfortable sharing what that offer was?
Yeah. What was that offer? I think it was like, it started, it wasn't much. It was like 20K. And then we were like, I don't know. And then they also weren't sure the true value. And then they narrowed it down to the email list, which was a pretty good list. And it was going to be like 10K.
Oh, wow.
To just essentially buy the email list, or they buy the brand?
Just to buy the email list, essentially. Okay. But I don't know if we did that right or wrong. Like, we could have got more or less. I have no idea. We didn't know how to evaluate the company.
Your first time, first experience.
How do you even evaluate a company like that? Do you go based off of like the revenue in the past 2 years, or the trajectory?
I still don't really know. There's so many.
So complicated.
There's so many models depending on the industry, depending on the type of business.
That's true.
I mean, at the time I think we were like zeroed out, so we didn't have much money in the bank. So it was essentially just a list and the brand itself.
A concept, really,
yeah. And then the brand is like subjective. It's like, how much do you value the brand?
Yeah. So yeah, that's very interesting.
Do you think has powerlifting like inclined since then, or has it like kind of died down? Like for me, I think it died down. Maybe it's because like I'm not in that community anymore. Like Mason and I used to powerlift. But like now that like I'm not doing that, it's somewhat quiet. I don't know, like
maybe you're just out. Like I feel the same, but it could just because we're not in it anymore. But aren't they're thinking about putting it in the Olympics now or something?
Is it? Are they?
I think it died down, or like it declined for sure.
Yeah.
Even like I was randomly looking at like meets just to go watch and support.
Yeah.
There's like none in Ottawa, and like, but before there was a ton. You know, like
we had provincials one year.
Yeah, you can count on like at least 4 meets, local meets.
Yeah,
right. And like now it's like super more spread out.
Yeah.
In a way, it was a blessing because we officially stopped doing stuff in 2019. So we stopped the merch in 2018.
Okay.
But 2019, we still had contracts to shoot nationals. So we just did the media. And then we stopped. And then 2020 happened.
Oh,
and
yeah.
COVID.
So that was beautiful. And that's a beautiful exit.
Right. And then nobody could there was no meets because COVID in Canada, right? Like obviously like in-person events just took forever to get. So.
Wow. That's so interesting. And I'm curious, like what was like your best year at LVD?
Revenue wise?
Yeah.
350.
Wow.
Yep. Damn.
So we made just under $1 million in our total span.
Wow. That's cool.
And you guys were in it for 2 years?
No, full-time 2 years.
Full-time 2 years.
So we did LVD November 2015.
Okay.
Till say, I guess, March, April of 2019. So 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually, and this all started as a school project.
Yeah.
That's
school
crazy.
project. And then she got a really good grade. And then we were like, let's continue this thing, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, let's print 100 shirts and let's see if we could sell the brand, sell the message, sell the apparel, right? We ended up selling all 100 shirts with a back order.
Okay.
So then we're like, okay, reinvest it back into the business, and then we kept growing. And
how was the buying side of that? Like, I feel like we're doing a lot of LVD here.
No, that's fine. I love that.
But like when like pre-launch, you know, like what's like a buy-in? Like, are you buying everything up front, or is it kind of order and then we'll send it later?
Yeah, so it progressed, right? So our very first supplier in Ottawa, who we rode with for so long, pretty much till like more than half the time we were with this one supplier, and it was amazing because there was no deposit, so we would put our order in, and then you would have 30 days to pay. We're like, okay, sick.
Wow.
And then we had an Amex that had 60 days to pay.
Okay.
So we had technically like 90 days of runway to sell the merch before we had a bill.
Yeah.
Right. And then the golden years was we would launch a week later, pay for the merch, and then we were already making profit before we would have to pay for the product. Right.
That's nice.
And then once we got bigger, then the newer company in Toronto who we dealt with, who were still good, but they required 50% upfront right when you order.
Yeah.
And then 50% for pickup.
Damn.
So you paid for everything. Yeah. So it was a huge cash flow shift.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it that you guys were gonna donate money for like water? Because that was such a like crazy marketing move.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
That's a good question. I want to say me, but I can ask Mal. But
okay.
I believe it was me. At the time, I was really big into Toms. You know Toms shoes?
Yes,
I've loved their model, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's really cool. And then there's a Canadian company that did something similar called Tentry.
Yeah.
Tentry Apparel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, like, could we do a fitness version of Tentry? And
yeah.
That's how it came about, you know?
And it's smart. Like it does make an impact for sure. Like if you're kind of on the edge, you know, do I want a shirt? Do I need it? and then you know that, like, it's kind of a no-brainer.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's smart.
What was the biggest mistake you made from that business that you were able to avoid going into the real estate route?
Biggest mistake that I made with that business.
Because that's the beauty part about like doing another business is that like I said, you get to skip out on the like
or do you feel like there is any overlap? Like, are they just so different? Like,
no, there's a ton of overlap for sure. Okay. Just even like your team, you know, like we already had the same accountants.
Okay.
The lawyer is more a real estate lawyer, and we didn't really have a lawyer till the real estate stuff anyways. But our accountants, our mentors were all the same. And you just felt more confident, you know, like you could just go to the bank, be like, hey, we need this, and this.
You know what these things are like. Like, it was the same when we were getting this place. Like, we kind of we weren't even planning to at the time. We're just like, let's just see what leasing is like. Like, what is it like to do walkthroughs of commercial spaces? What is the lease process like? And it just kind of kept working, and then we just went for it. But
okay, biggest mistake?
Yeah.
So I can't really think of one, but one of the biggest mistake, and it's unfortunately still with me now in real estate, but it's not as bad, is cash flow or expenses. I loved the revenue side of things. I could track our revenue so well, but cash flow or like the expenses were like, when you're making money and you're young, you're like, I got money in the bank, I'll just keep paying. Like, I don't care, you know?
And then
like,
the bill hits and you're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, or then when things get tight, when sales slow down, it's like, oh man, what am I spending this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the best things that happened to us in business was that we were students. So we didn't have any money. So that really forced us to be creative, right? And one of the worst things that happened to us was having money.
Yeah.
Because we weren't properly trained, or like, again, we went from like students to like business owners, right? We didn't have managerial experience, corporate. We didn't have much of that, right? Yeah. So when you have money, it's like, okay, people are spending money on this, so I guess we'll spend on this to be like them, right? Like, you're just trying to be like other successful people without actually looking at the reasons why they do things. So yeah, the spending was
Mason and I can attest to that too, because like right now we're like, okay, we have some money, let's invest it all. You know, like we just go all in, and sometimes like, oh fuck, man, like maybe we shouldn't have bought that because like rent is coming up, you know, yo, we're gonna be paying the credit cards. But like the moment we get like, okay, yo, we just got this X amount of money, we need this, and that. And the thing is though, is not like we're buying it for ourselves, like we're reinvesting back into the business. But sometimes like having money is sometimes like a bad thing, but also a good thing.
You just gotta know how to plan ahead with what's coming, and you know, okay, that part of the month's usually a little slow, so let's hold on to some, all that. But,
well, that's the thing about business, right? There's a lot of ups and downs. So when it's going good, it's going good. So you feel invincible.
And you're just like, oh, so we grew twice as much since last month, so next month we'll do it again, right? Like,
you just think it's gonna keep going, and it doesn't keep going.
It's so true. It's waves. It's always waves. Was there any big like personal purchases, any watches, anything like that?
Like in general?
No, back in there when you like with those.
No, not with LVD, man.
Okay.
I'm telling you, when we quit our jobs, I was paying myself and Mal a $30K salary.
Okay. Wow.
Right, and then the second year we're like, let's give ourselves a raise. We got 35. Like that was.
But hey, I mean, at the time, most people your age were probably making about the same. Like, so it's crazy. It's cool to see that you're doing it yourself, but also you probably dealt with a million times more stress and work. And
definitely.
They just had to show up, clock in, clock out, and move on.
Yeah, there's other benefits, right? We were able to expense travel, our internet and stuff like that, but like nothing really, to be honest.
But that's the thing, like him and I talk about this all the time, is like people our age, they're like making like 80K, 100K, you know, working for the government corporate, and we're like, fuck man, we're like struggling to scrape by. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, because the things that we're learning right now is so valuable and like will carry with us throughout the years as we live on. Because like I always think about this, like if you have a corporate job, I'm not shitting on any corporate jobs, but the reason why I really love entrepreneurship is like I said, you have to hold yourself accountable. If you're not making any money, it's no one's fault but yourself. Because if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you could do fuck all and you're still gonna get paid that salary, right? There's no sense of like, it's almost like you didn't earn it almost, you know? Like, I mean, you obviously earned the position to be there, but like every single dollar isn't necessarily earned, if that makes sense, right? And so that's why
it's a bit more like it's kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about. Like you know it's coming. You know that paycheck's coming the next 2 weeks, and it's there again.
And that experience is priceless, man. Like right now, if I had to get a job, I can get a 6-figure job. Yeah. Based off my experience with my entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
Not
There's
based
no
off
question.
No, right?
And you have a huge portfolio of look at what I've been able to do with organic growth. Look at what I've been able to do with like this, with that. Like
you're really valuable in the marketplace, right? Because your experience off of like however many years you've been doing business is equivalent to like 40, 30 years of like working in the corporate, if not more. You know what I mean?
It's such a different mindset too. Like I literally said this on our last podcast, but like he had a job interview recently, and like he literally shows up, he's sitting there waiting in the room for the guy. The guy sits down, hey, how's it going? And then David's like, so what do you like about working here?
Yeah, like I just talked to him, like, yeah, like how do you like this job, you know? And like it was the recruiter.
And it's like, if you're like, I feel like back then you're just like so scared and you're like, don't say the wrong things. You're just like so worried. But here it's like, I got value to provide you. I want this job. We kind of both want something here. Like, let's chat.
The worst question I had for my first full-time job was, what did they ask? Oh yeah, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And in my head, I'm like, not here. You know what I mean? But like, you gotta lie. I'm like, like in a management position, like going up, you had to lie. But I'm like, I knew deep down, I'm like, I'm not gonna be here.
I'm just doing this for the paycheck right now because I'm working on something greater for myself, Yeah.
Exactly.
And you just gotta lie through your teeth, man. I know, honestly, I love the environment here, blah, blah, blah. But like,
I've always wanted to work here. It's a dream of mine.
Yeah. But no, honestly, we've been talking about like the professionalism of Josh. Let's talk about outside of work, like you're doing some crazy things. In 2024, you're planning on doing a
half Ironman,
man.
Yeah.
What got you into that, bro? That hurts.
You've been training on like your swimming, your biking. You've been like getting into everything there.
Like, what got you into that? Because that's a difficult task,
and it's totally different from powerlifting.
Yes,
oh my god,
completely the opposite.
Literally,
bro, all powerlifters like, I'll never do cardio. Never do cardio. You're gonna lose gains.
You
know what I mean?
It's interesting. So ever since I stopped powerlifting / LVD, I fell off the gym too. Like I like barely trained, but then again, that was 2019. Then COVID happened.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess it was like 2022, 2021. I'm like, I need to get back into the gym. So I kept trying to do things to get back into it, but nothing was sticking. I tried like calisthenics. I tried a little bit of bodybuilding, going back to powerlifting, but nothing was sticking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need a competition. I need an event.
Yeah.
Like that keeps me the most accountable. Right. So then I'm like, okay, like I kept that in the back of my head. And then at my cottage, there's a really nice cottage on the lake, and it's a friend of a friend. But then my friend said that guy has swam from his cottage to the other side of the lake and back. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So when I looked up the guy, he's like a real estate developer, but he's also like a triathlete. Like he's done a few Ironmans. And I'm like, that's really cool. I'm like, this guy's cool. He's successful. I'm like, I could maybe do tries, right?
Yeah.
And I swear that night on my TikTok, I had like a couple triathletes. I'm like, these guys look cool. They're young. I'm like, oh, it's my sign. You know, I'm gonna try it.
This is it.
Yeah.
And the algorithm was listening.
I swear to God. And then I looked into it and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. And then let's say a month later, we had friends over at the cottage, and one of them randomly was like, oh yeah, I signed up for an Olympic triathlon. I'm like, you could do that? And I'm like, okay, if you could do that, I could do that. And then I'm like, no, I gotta look at it again. So then I looked at it more seriously, and I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have to do the full. I could do the half, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's try it.
Yeah,
let's try it.
What's the distance on a half? How many kilometers swim, bike, and running?
1.8 kilometer swim, 90 kilometer bike, and a 21 kilometer run. So half marathon.
Oh my god, half marathon
at the end.
I thought it was like half marathon total split up. Wow.
No,
that swim sounds so scary to me.
So the full Ironman is a marathon at the end. Like that, the run part is a marathon.
Jesus.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
And running's last. What's the order?
Swim, bike, run.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude.
What do you do if your bike breaks? Because I see that often actually. Like people go and their bike breaks. Like, are you out of the race?
I don't know the rules, so I don't know.
You'll find out.
I haven't gone that far.
Oh wow. Okay.
The only rule I know is you can't listen to music.
Really?
Yeah.
That hurts.
But honestly, I prefer that.
Well, because you're competing, right?
Yeah.
It's like listening to having AirPods in when you're playing ball.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
that's fair.
LeBron like dunking with
It's
like AirPods in?
Safety issue too, I'm sure.
That's
and all
true.
this. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
But no, it's funny because literally I went through the same experience after powerlifting. Like it was so hard to be motivated to work out when I didn't have that specific thing and like a program and like progressing every week and like I literally went from doing like 4-hour workouts 6 days a week to just like I could barely get myself to go, or like, you know, like I'd be trying to bodybuild and I'd be like 45 minutes in, like I'm so bored.
And I think it's also the idea of just like learning something new, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, like we were like bodybuilding and powerlifting. It was like so boring, and that's why like when you and I were like into like the whole gym thing, I was doing everything. I was doing bodybuilding, I was playing baseball, I was doing powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting and CrossFit. I was literally doing everything, and like it was so fun to me.
True hybrid.
Yeah.
Literally, remember like I would go to the gym like, you know what? Today I want to deadlift. I want to hit a PR today. Like I would literally just have. I would literally just.
Today
show
I
up
just
to
want to
the
do curls. Like,
literally. But
I'm
it's so
good.
fun though, because like when you do the same thing over and over, it kind of gets boring.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing about powerlifting is like technically you are, but it's always growing. Like, and the like even bodybuilding, like I find it's just so hard because you're like not seeing progression each week. Whereas with powerlifting, it's like 5 pounds a week, but it's changing. Like it's you're going up in your lifts as you're peaking and whatever, and like it's just more clear. It's numbers on a page that are going up.
It's not subjective, right? Like you can't look at the top bodybuilder and be like, hey, I need arms that are exactly 40 inches or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas a powerlifter, I'm like, okay, I need to squat 900 pounds. Okay, I guess I got work to do, you know?
Yeah.
But honestly, like when we were like when I did the Candido like squat,
Johnny Candido.
Johnny Candido.
If you know, you know.
program.
Yeah, exactly, bro. But like honestly, it was so boring at the end because every day I walked to the gym straight to the squat rack.
Oh,
and like
dude.
I would spend like 2 hours there, you know.
Literally.
I'm just like, this is the same thing every single day.
Plus
well,
we're,
obviously
like,
it wasn't
filming
every
and
day,
stuff,
but
and
You know what?
so
That's kind of like a life analogy, right? Because if it's the boring stuff, consistent, right? And then then you get that 1% of what everyone sees, right? You see Russ Swole squat 800 pounds or whatever. And it's like, I want to do that. But do you know what his day-to-day looks like? Repetitive, consistent, and boring.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I have a useless flex from powerlifting. So technically I got gold at provincials, but it's because I was the only person in my age in my class.
You don't got to say that part.
I was like 74, 73. What's the men's
74?
one? Yeah.
Why?
I was 74.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm telling you,
yeah.
like I was so light for how tall I am.
Yeah.
Like, I was so skinny, and I always have been.
74
like,
kilo.
Dude,
how many
and
pounds
take
is
in
that?
163 and under.
Okay. No, I lied.
There's 83.
I lied.
Is
I
one
think
You
it
were
was
83. You were
Yeah.
83.
Okay, I
Joey
totally
was
was
74.
I was
Joey was
I was messing it up because I mix up. It's so
because I remember you were 205.
Yeah, but actually, when I quit powerlifting or when I stopped, I lost 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you said 160, I'm like, I don't think so. But I think it's wild.
That's
but
crazy.
that was fun. So gold medal.
But did you
podium.
play any other sports growing up?
Yeah.
Let me guess. Basketball?
Of course.
Filipino,
But here's the
bro.
thing. Okay.
Every Filipino played basketball. I was the outlier. I played baseball.
Yeah, but you know Pat?
Patrick Belaba?
Yeah, man. He played baseballs too.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I got into baseball.
Really?
My uncle told me to get into it. I'm like, why? And he's like, you have a good chance of going pro, at least. There's a chance of you going pro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
really? I'm like, man, baseball, whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
it's not very popular here in Ottawa or Canada in general.
No, but I played basketball. Great sense of community. Like I had my best friends.
PBA?
Because of basketball.
Yeah.
But then I got into football. When did I get into football? I think grade 8. I got into football grade
interesting.
9.
Did your school have a team?
We did have a team,
Okay.
but I played with the club team first.
Okay.
Some of my friends played on the team.
Which team was that in your area?
At the time, it was Nepean Redskins.
Okay.
Now the Nepean Eagles.
Okay. Yeah.
So I played Redskins for I think 2 years, and then our team, our high school had a team.
Yeah.
So I got on that. But I love football.
Really?
I prefer it over basketball.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd say the same.
Yeah. I played defense on football and
What position?
DB.
Okay. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. I played receiver for a year and it was fun, but like It's tough.
Yeah,
bro. Our school was the only one that didn't really have a football team, and we have 2 people in the NFL.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, it's so wild. True, man. Even for like the baseball, like the only reason why we had a baseball team in the last year was because I got everybody to write a petition for us to have a baseball team. I got like 116 signatures, bro. I literally just went around the lunchroom and just like sign this, sign this, sign this.
There you go.
And I made it happen.
I did rugby for a year. That was really fun. But then they got rid of the team. Because the whole team was grade 12, so then the next year it was gone.
Yeah. Would you ever do martial arts?
Of course.
I think you should. I think you'd do well in it because like you're really you're really athletic, and I think you'd be able to adapt to it really quickly.
Yeah.
I think
my friends were super into Muay Thai in high school.
Really?
There's a group of them. Yeah.
Have you done any martial arts? No.
It's fun. He's got me into it a bit. It's a crazy workout. Yeah. It's insane.
I feel like a lot of powerlifters went to BJJ after.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. It's like a joke. It's like every washed up powerlifter becomes Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
That's interesting, eh?
But honestly, bro, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is the craziest like martial arts someone can ever like do. I remember when I went to the Philippines and I went to this gym, and then this guy, the trainer, he was wearing glasses, but every single time we would roll, he would take off his glasses and just close his eyes, bro. And like he would just feel you. It would just feel you up, bro. And like this sounded weird, but like he would just feel everything and like catch you based off of like your breathing. You know, he would just listen to everything and just like feel you out. It was just so crazy. It's like playing chess. Yeah. It's like playing chess with someone, and it's so like it's amazing. I think you'd really like it. I think you should do a couple classes, man.
Hey, it might be my next thing after this try.
Honestly, there's a good gym by Hintonburg, Gracie Barra. I think you'd enjoy it.
Is that the one near the Rig Boxing? Is that on Scott Street?
No, it's at the City Center.
Oh, is that City Center?
Yeah, City Center, which is
literally behind me again.
Yeah.
Orange Monkey, same building.
Yeah, exactly. It's on that same strip.
Yeah,
it's on the same strip.
Yeah. So triathlon. That's the goal this year. You had some other goals. One was invest 50,000. Is that a lot of real estate?
No, stock market.
Stock market. Are you doing any? Because you said Airbnb revenue, is that from your own properties as well?
No, it's for a cottage. So that's one of the main reasons why we bought the cottage was to put it on Airbnb.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That's sick.
Do you do your own investments, or do you just do mutual funds, or just like you have someone else handle that?
I do my own.
Okay.
But super boring. Just ETFs.
Yeah.
Just ETFs.
Nothing fun.
Honestly, at this point, is the safe play. I mean,
that's the play. I like that.
I was heavy into investing during the pandemic. I guess we're still in the pandemic, but like during 2020, and like that was a good time to buy, really good time. But now I look at my portfolio, I'm just like, oh, I don't even want to look at it. You know,
ETFs are doing well.
ETF, surprisingly, I do have some ETFs still,
well.
and it's very stable.
Yeah,
it's very stable.
Yeah,
but there was literally what was it? Fiverr. Have you heard of Fiverr? Fiverr and Upwork. I think
Upwork was so
bro,
big.
Fiverr. I bought it at like $33, and then it went all the way up to like I think $300.
10x. Damn.
Yeah, I swear to God. And then I didn't sell because I was like, yeah, man, this is gonna
keep going.
It's gonna keep going to the moon. Until now, I still have it, and now it's back at like $20 or like 11.
You lost.
I lost, bro.
That hurts.
That's a big L, bro. I know it hurts, but honestly, it's okay. It's okay. But honestly, right now, I stopped investing because doing my business is investing.
It is.
It's an investment. That's one thing. Like
it's an asset.
So true. There's actually there's this Alex Hormozi quote that really because I invested like before the COVID. It was kind of wild. Like I just started investing. I did it for like a year. By the end of the year, my account doubled, 100% increase. And then we started the business. And I sold it all and bought a computer, and like so that was a vibe. But then I've always like wanted to, but I didn't have really the cash to be putting in, or if I did, I'd end up taking it out and whatever. And I've always like feel like, oh, I'm missing out. You know, they always say,
FOMO.
That you're 20, if you start 5 years earlier, that's $1 million extra dollars when you're 60, whatever. But Alex Hormozi said this. He's like, when you're an entrepreneur, like you are investing, you're just over leveraged on one stock. And it's yours. It's
yourself.
It's your business, your stock.
Well, you know what? My mentor always says he would invest in himself, or like the entrepreneur more, like always. He always do that.
Because it's like we were saying earlier too. It's like, yes, obviously the goal is the business pays it back in dividends. But at the end of the day, even if it doesn't, you have developed so much that then you can get a 10 times better job or start a new business or whatever it may be.
And this year was the first year I invested in myself.
Okay.
In what way?
Courses, conferences, and a coach, actually.
Oh, wow.
A coach.
So I'm like classic male. Like I could do everything myself. I don't need help. I could find the research on my own.
Yeah.
And I got stuck after 2021 was an amazing year. Last year, market slowed, and then I was lost. I was a little bit burnt out. I didn't know what to do, and I was just really in a slump. And same with the beginning of this year, same thing, right? Like kind of in a slump. Earlier this year, and then I'm like, it might be time to invest in myself. So I went to my first conference. I went to a few more conferences. I did a few workshops, like goal setting and like how to level up and stuff. And then I got my coach now. But I think that investment is gonna pay off so well.
I'm sure. Yeah. Especially when you're at a place like this where you have so many opportunities to leverage things a little better than you are now, or like dig a little deeper into that. Like it's all kind of set up, and you just need to like lean a little harder there and just get that advice. Like you have a lot of opportunity right now.
I want to tap into your expertise. I don't know how long we'll be going into this, but I want to tap into your the real estate expertise.
Okay.
Is it possible for a single person to buy a house right now? Let's say they have a stable job. They're making $75K a year. Is that person able to buy a house?
A condo.
A condo.
You can buy a condo.
Okay.
From the 70s.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
So no, is that a no?
You could buy. It depends on what you clarify. What your definition is.
Like
buying.
a townhome.
No.
Like what's the average income for someone to be like? How much does like a person need to make or a couple need to make in order for them to afford, let's say, like a $450,000 house, like a brand new build from Mattamy Homes, $450.
I need to do the math.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna throw this out there. It's a total guess. 140 household income. Fuck. It's because the rates are so high right now.
So for two people. Okay. Wow. Yeah. For household income. Yeah.
But it's wild because in like 2017, you could buy a townhome for like $350, $330 on a single income.
Yeah. COVID, like it was already increasing, but there's such a quick jump, right? And like, has it come back like to leveled out, or is it still way high?
No, like it's definitely, the peak was Q1 of 2022.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the peak, and then it's like come down.
But then the prices are obviously gonna go up a little bit as the interest rate go down, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, the fact that it hasn't gone down a lot just still means there's still demand for real estate, and that it's relatively stable, because we're still in like a housing shortage, affordable housing shortage. Like again, there's a ton of homes on the market right now. Yeah. But no one can buy them.
Yeah.
That's
because
true.
they can't get approved for it.
It's so true.
Yeah. It's a weird dynamic. I don't know.
I do feel like, affordable housing, like at least, I don't know, like in Ottawa, I just feel like, the new neighborhoods I think are a good step, because they're all like very tight townhomes. Like they're trying, I think, but like every neighborhood that's like, they're kind of crappy neighborhoods, but they're affordable, are just turning into giant, like this crappy old rundown house turns into this huge like 5-story.
But that's the thing, Mason, like especially with Ottawa, you can't make Ottawa any bigger. Like for example, like if you build like 2 big apartment buildings, that's equivalent to like 3 big neighborhoods, right? And that's the gameplay for Ottawa right now.
Yeah,
like, because we're growing as the population is growing,
and that's what people wanted. They're like, I want Ottawa to be cool. I want it to grow. It's like it's part of it, right?
Honestly, bro, like in 2020 and 2021, I thought like a lot of real estate agent was engraving like FOMO into a lot of people. Like I have a friend who was trying to buy a house for the longest time, and he put in like 5 offers, and like he just kept on losing. And then so then like his real estate agent was like, just make an aggressive offer. This guy put $80,000 more than asking price, and he got it. But he paid $80,000 more than asking price, and then interest rate went up, and then his condo fee went from like $350 to like $545, and his mortgage went up like almost $1,000. I was like,
he was on variable, right?
I was like, damn, he got fucked.
Like how does that sound? Like, did he get fucked, or is that kind of?
So your point of over asking, it's not always true.
Okay.
Because there was a point where it was a game.
Yeah.
So you would list it below the market value.
Yeah.
And then they would actually pay market value, but the headline says 80K over.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because you listed it 100K under.
see.
Or, you know what I mean?
So it's almost a play by the agent to just have like kind of a marketing like I sold
it's
over.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not even the I sold. It's to get eyes on it.
Okay.
Because it's so low. Yeah. And for you to get that high, you need the people who are Hail Marrying that low price. It's not going to happen. But the person who actually could afford it, they're now stuck having to pay a certain price.
Yeah. And it gets them into that bidding war.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so like
that makes sense.
It's all a strategy.
Okay.
Whenever I look at homes with my clients, I look at comparable sales and the market value. I'm like, yeah, we're paying 80K over asking, but all the sales and the value of the home is actually worth what you're paying.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm always careful that they're not overspending.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because also if you overspend and the banks look at that, I'm like, there's no way that townhome is $1 million.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be like, I don't want to mortgage the house. And then you're screwed
interesting.
because now you're in a contract.
I see.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And then your only option is to come up with the difference in cash.
Damn.
And you might not have
the bank wouldn't want to do the mortgage because what they don't think.
So the banks are buying the home, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
You know what I mean?
So like I'm not. No.
It's like I'm not paying that much for this house, or I'm only gonna loan you a certain amount.
Yeah.
You can still buy it. Go do you.
Yeah.
But
I
if
see.
you need if you don't have the difference, then they're not gonna loan you more.
Yeah. Okay. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because technically, if you default and everything, they have to sell it.
Yeah.
So they have
It's
to
on
recoup
them.
their losses too, right?
Yeah.
And usually, like, because that's foreclosed at that point.
Yeah.
And then usually they sell it for way less, right?
So when you foreclose a home, do you get any of your equity back, or like the bank just takes
It's
everything?
the bank. They just take it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even if you
I believe so. I mean, I've never gone through it, and I haven't
Okay.
had a client that's gone through it.
Okay.
But I would assume, I think the owner would just forfeit all their equity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Not that I know, but
That's what it makes sense. But I
yeah,
don't know.
you'd think. But yeah, like with Sire Group, like you personally, are you doing? Again, I really don't know much about real estate, like being an agent. But are you doing more buying, more selling? Is it kind of 50-50? Like, how does that usually split up?
Yeah. So I would say 2/3. So like 66%, 60% is buyers.
Yeah.
40% sellers. The path of an agent is usually starts with rentals. So if you're a new agent, you typically start with rentals.
Yeah.
Right. And then your rentals, your tenants become buyers. And eventually those buyers become sellers.
Yeah.
And those sellers are going to become buyers again because they got to buy a new place or they become investors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it kind of feeds itself as time goes on. And yeah.
That's like the traditional route.
Yeah.
But obviously, depending on where you are in life, depending on your network, you might just have sellers right away.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
right now I'm buyer heavy because of my age, because of the
Because
my
first time
sphere.
home buyer,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that whole thing kind of is where you're headed.
And that's your demographic too, right? That's kind of like where your target audience. Can you represent yourself to save that 5% or 2%?
So I did. So our house in Hintonburg, I didn't. I didn't take a commission.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were competing with another offer.
Okay.
I cut my commission. The agent has to actually tell the other agent that I'm cutting my commission legally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he does what he has to do with that info. But when you look at the net on what the seller gets, the seller's going to get. So if we both bid 500K,
Yeah.
but one agent's he's going to get paid a commission, the other agent isn't, which is me. Even though they're both 500K, the seller's going to get more net
Yeah.
on my deal because they're not paying me a commission.
Oh, because
the
instead of
seller
paying
pays-
5%, they're only getting like the 2.5% of the other agent.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So the fee goes from
yeah.
5 to 2.5 on my end.
Yeah.
So obviously my net is higher. So again, even though our prices were the same,
Yeah.
mine's more attractive. So the other agent would actually have to pay more to meet the same net as me.
Yeah.
Wow, what a power play.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you represent yourself to buy and sell?
Buying is a lot easier
Yeah.
to represent because you are your buyer.
Yeah.
But when you're selling, you
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
But it's a lot riskier.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because you know things about the home. You know the market. You
Okay.
technically could be lying,
Okay.
right? Because you know how it all works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of agents, they actually would rather have someone else. They actually hire agents to sell their home.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, it takes the emotion out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, you can. You can represent yourself on both.
How many properties are you now? 3, right?
3.
Wow.
Yeah.
When's the next one?
We just got pre-approved. So we are always getting pre-approved because you never know when an opportunity comes up.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you ask for that, or is the bank just like, you know what, you guys are doing really well. Here's a pre-approval.
No, we work with a mortgage broker.
Okay.
So every fall, I'm like, hey man, like, let's get pre-approved. Here's our numbers. What can we afford?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, here you go. I'm like, okay, great.
And now you just kind of know and you're ready to anytime something comes up.
Yeah.
So so you have your house in Hindenburg, cottage, and what else?
And our first home we kept, it's our home in Barhaven.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we have a long-term tenant. It's an amazing family. They've been amazing. Best case scenario, to be honest. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So is the long-term play like just have a lot of real estate and just get them rented out and just be a landlord and then just exit the
rat race, I guess.
Not the rat. I mean, it's not really debatably. Is being a real estate agent, would you consider that a rat race?
Not a rat race, but it's more so just like becoming, I guess, financially free.
Yeah, exactly. Just not having to work anymore.
Yeah, it's part of our strategy, but we've never been hardcore investors.
Okay.
Like our properties are all properties we would also live in. Yeah. Where some investors are so money focused, it's like it could be a terrible location, terrible home, but you can get a renter in and you can still get positive cash flow. Yeah. They'll buy it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, we're not like that. Or people want like multifamilies and having to deal with multiple tenants. Like we're not really like that.
Okay.
We like to put our money in real estate because we believe in it and we know it.
Okay.
But we're not like hardcore like that.
Yeah.
With the rates right now, are you guys positive cash flow or are you guys just breaking even?
Well, so there's fixed and there's variable rates.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So our first property is fixed until 2025, 26. So like it doesn't change.
Okay.
So if you're positive cash flow from the beginning, it's the same.
Okay.
Our current home, same thing. We're fixed.
Okay.
But our cottage is on variable.
Okay.
And we haven't been renting it because of permits and stuff.
Yeah, because Airbnb kind of switched up lately with like it has to be your primary.
Yeah, there's a ton of rules. Yeah. But it was even like cottages are okay because again they're a little bit different.
Okay.
But the province of Quebec, since our cottage is in Quebec, they were a lot more strict.
Oh.
So you need like it's like Tourism Quebec license to host it. But then when we were gonna apply for it, they changed the rules of what's allowed to be an Airbnb with like the lot size and a ton of things. So we went through an 8-month process to get our permit. Damn. So our plan when we first bought was to rent it this year, like this summer, right?
Yeah.
Because of the permit, we couldn't rent it. So we've just been eating the cost.
Yeah.
Like we're fine. It's just like zero cash flow. Like it's we're just
guys,
paying for all the.
Yeah, you guys
costs.
bought it for a reason as an investment, but right now it's not.
Yeah.
Sure.
But we got the permit now. So
yeah.
Oh,
okay, good.
Yeah.
Just recently, or has it been? Have you been renting it yet?
No. Well, we got it recently, like 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah.
But we closed up for the winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not for a season.
Okay, it's not like a
winterized.
Yeah.
So it is like there's insulation in the roof and the walls. It's just the water comes from the lake, so it'll freeze.
Yeah, and you can't turn it off because I know at our cottage we have to turn it off before we leave, or else it'll destroy the whole place. Like the pipes will burst, it'll ruin everything. Like we can just kind of turn it off as we leave, but for you guys it's just
well we like turn it off and disconnect it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then whereas our neighbor has a well.
Okay.
So it's like deep and so the water's not going to freeze. And then wherever the water comes up, it's like insulated and heated underneath. So ours isn't.
Okay.
So it's not hard to get it insulated or winterized. It's just we got to do it, which we haven't got to it yet.
Yeah.
But that's the goal.
So to do that, it would be putting in a well?
There's options, right? So there's a well or a heated line.
Okay.
But we're trying to go back and forth with the cost and value.
Yeah.
Right. Heated line's cheaper, but it doesn't add value to the property.
Okay.
A well costs more, but it adds value to the property. Right.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to like figure it out. But again, we weren't 100% sure we were going to get the permit.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to invest into it.
Yeah.
What was the plan if you guys didn't get the permit? Would you guys have just sold it?
Keep it.
Yeah. And that goes back to, like you said, like you invested in places you want regardless. It's a cottage you want. Yep. So
it would have helped to like have people supplement the cost.
Yeah.
But in the end, we were just like, we got to do better in business.
Yeah.
Just pay for it.
Yeah. It's cool. It seems like a cool spot.
Yeah.
It really does. Where is it? What area?
It's in Val-des-Mont.
Yeah.
And it's 40 minutes from downtown Ottawa.
Yeah. I was just out there the other day. It's a really cool area.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice.
We love it.
Yeah, we're shooting a listing there. It's sweet.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and you guys did a great job just renovating that. You guys did everything yourself, right?
I learned so much.
Because like Mallory's dad is like a really handy man. Because I see from your stories, right?
Yeah.
You guys just did everything.
So I learned a lot from him, and I can now say I'm handy, right? Like, and it helps with work too. I can be like, okay, floor rentals are this much, plumber. It actually really helped me in my job, to be honest. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
that's fun.
You learn so much from just doing things.
I know. And to your point of like properties, so our cottage neighbor, she is a realtor in Ottawa for a really long time, but she moved to Mexico recently, or not recently, I guess, with COVID. So she's been trading real estate in Tulum, Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's a potential.
I know. She's always trying to market. She's like, hey, guys, you need a vacation home, you know?
Yeah.
So she's targeting like North Americans for vacation properties in Tulum, Mexico.
That's really cool.
And so we have an agent in Mexico. Funny enough, we're going to Mexico on Monday.
Oh, really?
Not to like do real estate, but we could. Yeah. But it's more so just as a vacation.
A vacation? Wow, that's exciting.
Honestly, vacation is really important. A lot of people just think it's like, oh, it's just all fun and games. But honestly, you just need that for like the mental break, you know? Just like disconnect sometimes, you know? Yeah. Even just like a simple day off is really nice. So how long are you guys going?
5 nights, 6 days.
5 nights.
So just like pretty quick. Yeah. So
is that hard for you to kind of like take vacations?
Yeah.
You're a workaholic, eh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm a workaholic, but also my business is hard to be not in Ottawa. Yeah. So that's my struggle. And that's why I envy what Mal does. Yeah. Because she can work from anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Right.
She's more doing coaching and like the courses. And
she has a lot. Yeah. So her income streams is coaching, courses, influencer. So she's doing really well with her influencer stuff, like Adobe, like Amex, all those cool deals.
I keep seeing those ads.
I get that Adobe ads so much.
Yeah, they're going hard right now with Adobe. Affiliate stuff. She's doing really cool things. Pretty much like internet money.
Yeah. Is she, so with the Sire Group, was she just helped with marketing, but is she involved in that?
So we're still going back and forth. Like she mainly deals with like the marketing, but also the back end of the business. Like she keeps me organized and like focused. Yeah. But like she's not fully in. Yeah. Right. Because she still has her own business, which is still doing really well. So I feel bad taking that. Yeah. But so we still like she's in and out. Like there's no set role. Yeah. Right now a little bit more out, but our goal with our setup is to build the team and be more the dependable, more consistent business. Because it's real estate, right? Like people have had teams for decades and whatever, right? So it's like it's predictable. Yeah. Versus her business, Instagram could die tomorrow. Yeah. And then that's a lot of her income. You know what I mean? So her business is more so for our long term. So a lot of the like stuff that she makes, we invest it, you know, and we're always playing the long term. Versus mine is more short term. The goal is to like pay our bills right now, and kind of like do our thing. But yeah, so we kind of like place the business, the businesses itself has its own role within our total goal.
And what do you see? Like, I'm curious, what's your kind of vision for your life? You know, is it just grow Sire Group huge? Is it eventually sell it and move to Mexico? Like what do you picture?
I love that question. So my life, I guess you could say I'm on the pursuit of happiness, which is freedom to me. Yeah. And freedom is time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Yeah. That's the goal. Yeah. So if something came up tomorrow, that's a way better opportunity than Sire Group, I'm down. You know what I mean? Like I'm not set on real estate. Yeah. It's what I'm doing right now. It's what I'm good at. It's what I enjoy. I hope I'm not an agent forever. Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the goal is to actually, learning from our LVD mistake, I want to grow the company to not stop it. Yeah. I just want the company to keep going. Yeah. Right. So a little bit of a regret. It's like, could we have kept LVD going if we just hired someone? Yeah. You know, and maybe played a part-time role, but like let someone who is still really into powerlifting continue it.
Operating and like,
you know, but I still think it was a good call to stop it. But again, like now I don't want to start and stop again. Yeah. You know, so that's kind of our goal. But yeah, that's what we're doing. The next 10 years, we did our goals. We are trying to go pretty aggressive and just be financially free by 40. That's amazing. That's the goal.
That's one thing that I see a lot of people are doing. Like the top dogs is like they start one thing, they grow that, and then start another thing. because a lot of people, they start one thing and then jump into another one. Whereas what you should be doing is like focus on that one thing, let that thing grow, and then just add something else on top of that, right? Instead of just like hopping like ships.
Yeah. Or like you said, just the right opportunity. It's not just like, it's like shiny object syndrome. Like that looks cool. It's just like, this is what I'm doing. It works. I like it. If an opportunity comes, I'm ready. And you're just whatever feels right.
Yeah. It's just not being set to like, I'm a realtor forever.
Yeah. And it's not like I need this Sire Group to be 100 million a year. I'm going to kill people to make it happen. So
your exit plan is to just have financial freedom, like get to a point where like, is there a number? Do you have a number?
Yeah. So for like, I mean, right now, based off our current life, I believe 100K a year passive would be, in a sense, financially free. Like that's like bare minimum. So 100K, we could probably both live comfortably, not comfortably, but like live without having to work.
Cover the basics.
Yeah. So again, that's for 2 people.
Yeah.
So let's say 50K each.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
And obviously we're gonna keep going from there.
Yeah.
That's what we have. We have set.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's really refreshing that to get a different perspective of how like you guys have actually planned out your 10 years goal ahead. Like sometimes I'm like, I struggle like what I want to do next week. You know what I mean? Because I think that's one thing that like
it's hard to picture, right? It's like I know it. Like I could say a number, but it's like I don't know. It's weird, eh? Like what's your strategy there?
Well, that's the beautiful thing of the goal of just being financially free. As long as you get there, you get there.
Yeah.
Right. Like I could start 10 more businesses till then and I'm still there, or I could just do this one and still get there. So it takes the stress off of like, this has to work.
This business needs to make that much. It's more just,
you're
going to approach it, whatever makes sense.
Yeah. But then how do we get there? It's just working backwards, man. So I'm like, okay, like if our expenses are 100K a year, how do we get that passive?
Yeah.
So you look at different strategies, whether that's real estate, dividend investing, whatever. And to get 100K through investments, you need to pull 4% of your portfolio. I'm like, okay, what's 4%? With 100K is 4% of what? And I believe it's like 2.5 million.
Okay.
Invested.
Yeah.
And that's like 4%. So that it's like safe, hopefully your money keeps growing and you'll in a way never run out of money.
So
I'm like, okay, great. So 2.5 million is the goal. That's it. That's the number.
Yeah.
And it could change next year, 2 years, sure. But like, that's kind of where we're gravitating towards. But the bigger goal of financial, like freedom is never going to change.
Yeah. That's interesting. I saw, another one of your goals was to sell, I think it was 40 homes this year. Is that
next year?
Yeah, next year. This month.
3 weeks.
But is that like a pretty aggressive goal?
Not aggressive enough, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
really?
I'm a little bit conservative with that goal.
Okay.
So that will make it my best year.
Yeah.
So it'll beat 2021. But I'm nervous to go higher.
Yeah.
I feel like currently I'm struggling with having goals that are too big.
Okay.
Because if they're too big, I get too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then sure, like if it's a big goal, you break it down by month, by week, by day. All of a sudden, in a week, if you didn't accomplish what you needed to, it's like, I'm off track.
I'm already behind.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's definitely a balance with like having a realistic goal, but also a goal that's enough to push you.
Yeah.
And Mal has a good story right now. I'm sure I could share it, but like, so she hit her goal for the year, revenue goal. And in a way, she accepted her revenue. She's like, this is it. I don't really have much more planned. Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's like, I kind of want to do like a Black Friday sale. So she did her Black Friday sale, made like a super successful launch. And then now she's doing this like goal setting workshop, I guess, with her friend.
Yeah.
And it's also going really well. And she's just like, I kind of settled, but then she just kind of felt better. And then she has even more, even though she already beat her goal. But it's a weird thing. It's just all a mindset.
It really is, eh? Yeah. Because like you said, if the goal's too small and you just know you'll hit it, there's no real drive. You kind of just,
man.
You just show up. And then if it's too high, I totally get that one where it's like week one, we had a number we were supposed to hit, we didn't, so we're off. It's not happening.
And like we learned this with LVD. It was so cool. It was like we were doing like at least 10K months, right, for revenue. And this 1 month we weren't gonna hit it. And I think it was like a couple days before the end of the month. We're like, damn it, like we're not gonna hit it. And then we're like, okay, what can we do to hit it? And we just thought of random ideas. I don't know exactly what we ended up doing, but we hit it.
Okay. Wow.
But it was because we had that goal. So okay, we gotta do something to try and hit it, and it worked.
Yeah.
But if it was like 20K months and you were like at 9K, 8K,
it'd be
I don't
different.
know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
how do you handle those goals? Like for example, like let's say you have a goal of making like, let's say 10K in a month, right? Are you pretty aggressive right off the gate, or are you more of like a bit more conservative and then you kind of like push the pedal near the end of the month?
So if I'm being totally honest, goals is not a strong suit of ours.
Okay.
So, okay, this is really funny. We do best when we don't have goals.
Interesting.
So when we actually do have goals, I feel like it just never works out.
Yeah.
We would plan a launch, we'd plan this, and it just would never work out.
Yeah.
And then the year where we're just like, let's go with the flow. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Ends up being our best year.
Yeah. Because I guess the difference is like a goal really helps if you're struggling to like be driven, and it's
have
like,
a direction,
I know I have to hit that. Whereas like if you're just driven, you're just kind of entrepreneur at heart, and that's just how you live your day to day. It's like, yeah, it's almost like Mallory, you know, if she kind of just accepted her goal, it's like almost limiting her. Her goal stopped her, but then she's just like, that's just her natural ways to, I kind of want to do some more.
Yeah, but goals are still good. I think goals, after my goal setting retreat, and especially in real estate, it's such a formula. You know, it's like if you want to sell these many homes, you got to meet these many people, you got to do these many calls.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a really cool number game, but I've never done it. Versus next year, I'm set. I'm like, okay, I got my numbers. I'm gonna do my best to try and accomplish all these things, and we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Goals are important for sure, but it's funny. Like when you ask how do we come up with them, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes we're just like, that's a cool number to hit. Let's hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
you know what I mean?
Let's hit this number this month.
Yeah.
But then sometimes like exactly going back to your point is sometimes like when you go with the flow, it just flows a lot better.
Yeah.
Right? You just like, it's so natural. You're just doing things so naturally that like you even forget about the goal, and you're just like, oh, whoa, like this month was a really good month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas like sometimes when you have a goal of like an X number, then you're so fixated on that like you're just so stressed, especially when it's like 2 weeks in, 3 weeks. It's like, oh fuck, man.
And then you start to operate from like desperation.
Yeah,
that's smart moves. I'm curious if you remember. Oh no, you said you don't. I was gonna say, what was that thing with LVD that like we're at the end of the month, we can't do it? Like, what? I'm curious because that's like a valuable thing.
I mean, a few strategies that we did, we would lower the free shipping price. So instead of $100, it'd be $50.
Yeah.
So and the next order might want to upsell because it'd be a lot easier for free shipping. Or we did like a free item. We would just post like, hey, quick sale, like free item if you purchase now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or it would be just some random thing. Or it would be like, okay, we're doing an event, a meet in like 3 months. Can we start doing pre-orders now? Yeah. You know, so we get some pre-orders.
Yeah.
Like you just got to be so creative with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was a unique one too, where like you had such a tie to the community where you could just post a story basically. And like you didn't have to run an ad on a sale. It was like, hey guys, do this and get a free shirt or get a free socks or whatever it is. And like, that's such a unique way. It can be so quick, like such a responsive thing.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's very cool.
That's so scary though, like when your face is so tied into the brand, because like everything you do ties into the brand, you know, like for you and I, like one thing I tell Mason is like, I want to operate our business to a point where like when we're not in front of the camera, it can still like function. You know what I mean? Because right now, like we're the face of the business, and like whatever I do or whatever he does is just like kind of like goes back to the business. And I don't know.
It's interesting. Yeah. I kind of noticed this. So I don't know if you guys like have paid attention to like Elon Musk. There's like kind of a whole advertiser thing similar to what happened on YouTube, but on Twitter, where like, because of things that Elon Musk is saying, advertisers trying to pull back and whatever. And so he was kind of framing it in a way like, you know, like, I have free speech. You guys are like discriminating against me. Or really his point of view was like, okay, leave. I don't care.
Screw you.
Yeah.
I saw that clip.
Yeah, I saw like, fuck the advertisers.
Fuck them. Yeah. But a lot of people are saying, you know, like, you know, that's going against his free speech and whatever. And it's like, it's not, because nobody's saying he can't say these things. It's simply the things you say represent X because of how you've bought it and the whole process. And now
But he's a marketing
when you represent
genius.
the business a certain way, an advertiser chooses not to advertise there. That's normal. That's how business works. You know, it's like
yeah, but Elon
when
Musk
you
is
are
a
tied
genius.
in, of course.
Yeah.
And same thing. He smoked weed on Joe Rogan, and then Tesla like plummets, and like it's crazy. It's wild when you become attached to it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're someone like him.
But that's the thing. Once you're so big, like for example, Tesla, you never see any Tesla advertisement on TV, right? It's all people just making reviews of the car or like things that like Elon Musk will say, and like it'll just get traction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a very smart man. He's a marketing genius.
But I also
really think about it.
I heard a theory that he's like tanking Twitter on purpose because like he just doesn't want it. Like he bought it and now it's like losing money, and he's like, kill it. I just want it gone. And then like,
can he really do that? Because I'm sure like he bought it for what, 44 billion. I don't think that came out of his own pocket. I'm sure he financed that.
Yeah, I'm sure it hurts him in some way. I don't know.
Are you a Tesla fan?
Oh yeah, I love my Tesla.
I know.
Yeah.
How's the acceleration on that one?
Because
you have the plaid mode, right?
3.2 or 3.6, one of the two. Not plaid.
I mean, sorry, you have the
performance.
Performance.
Yeah, I opted in for performance over bigger, longer battery.
Okay, this is what the X.
Sorry,
the Y.
Whoa. We got the Y.
Y,
yeah.
Nice. That's beautiful.
That's so beautiful.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Like the fact that an SUV 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds.
It's wild.
It is so crazy.
I want a Cybertruck.
A 3-row SUV.
Yeah.
Is it the 3-row or is it an option, right? Like you do the.
You had the option to do 7-seater or 8-seater, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
Bro,
crazy.
I want the Cybertruck. Like I imagine that as like as a business car, bro.
I've been
like
seeing that.
That is in itself will just be crazy advertisement.
Yeah.
You know, I saw one, bro, in Montreal. I think I told you
Really?
this.
Yeah.
Bro, even my girl that knows nothing about cars, she's like, "Oh, that looks so cool." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Well, and I was like, "Oh, that's a Cybertruck." I was like, "What? Cyberpunk?" I was like, "No, Cybertruck."
It's funny you mentioned that. Like Mal was never really a car person until the Tesla.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
wow.
That makes sense, right?
Such a car person now.
Because it hits you for all the like reasons. You know, like your average car person probably would hate Tesla because it kind of defeats the purpose. But just like from someone who doesn't care about engines and horsepower or whatever, it's so perfect.
The best feedback or review that Mal has about a Tesla is it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So every feature that they have in the car, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
For like driving.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
they're just so comfy. It's
Have you
so
gotten
nice.
close where you almost ran out of battery and you're like, "Oh fuck, this was a bad idea."
close. No. I have range anxiety, so I'm like
I would too.
super anxious. Like, yeah, no.
I'd be
I
so
plan
bad.
everything.
Yeah, because I know also, when they die, you're just kind of like you can't even roll, like you can't even get up on a flatbed, like they're stuck. It's done.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
Or like I think it's because you can't put it in neutral. Like it's just the wheels are directly attached to each motor. Like it's just stuck. Yeah,
That's
it's
wild.
crazy.
But with the Y, they came out with a software update last year. I was joking. I'm like, that'd be cool if they could do that. But the update is super cool, especially for the winter. Okay. You can turn off or turn on where the power is coming from. So right now it's all-wheel drive, but I could turn off the front and make it pure rear wheel, or turn the front on and just make it a front-wheel drive.
Have you ever done donuts in it?
Yeah.
Rear wheel
really?
in the snow.
In the snow, not like in the summer, but like
Yeah.
second the update came out, I'm like, I'm going to a parking lot.
Better.
Wow.
I'm going to a parking lot.
It is so crazy. Yeah, like literally, like they can do a update that makes the car faster because they just understand like the torque curve a little better, and like
bro, it's honestly
so crazy.
Bro, you can they're basically just allowing you to tune your car for like X amount of money. Like how much was it? 10,000 for an update?
Performance mode? No, this is like
okay.
Oh yeah, that update was 2K.
Okay.
At the time.
But then there was one where like you can
I didn't
increase
know you paid for them.
your 0 to 60, like you shave
2K.
it down.
It's
It was
2K.
2K? Okay.
That's what that was.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it's literally like a button. They just give you
Yeah.
access to it. It's in the car. The car is capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Have you heard? There's this one, like I think it was BMW. They had this in the UK. Or I forget where it was, but they had this one car where it was they were selling a subscription to be able to use the heated seats. You had to pay monthly.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought it was BMW.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It
like
was.
fully built into the seat, buttons there, but to turn it on, you gotta pay
Subscription.
a monthly. Yeah.
But honestly, that's kind of smart, man. Like right now, if you want to
Business-wise,
make
it's smart.
business-wise,
so
Oh,
smart.
yeah.
if you want to make any money, you gotta go through the subscription-based model.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because literally, like I still have Netflix and I don't watch TV at all. I probably watch it once, maybe twice a month, if that.
Well, it's like back in the day, like software was just one-time payment.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just pay, I don't know, like $100, $200 for something, and that's it. Now it's subscription based, which is in theory it's like way cheaper, but like
long
over
term,
time, if you just keep using it, it's like renting.
Yeah.
Versus owning something, you know.
It's like Adobe, bro. We pay like $1,300 not a month, a year for Adobe. Because if you just buy it one time, you don't get the updates.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. There's a pros and cons. It's always going to be updating, and they're making it better, sure.
But that's the thing. Can you really become a professional at Adobe to a point where like you need the latest update? Like I don't know, man. Adobe apps are so complicated that like you can spend 3 years on it. They literally teach you how to use Adobe apps in school.
Yeah.
Take that.
There's a whole class.
You have a whole class about it.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah. We're. I don't want to keep you too long, man. We're holding you up, but
But anything else? I mean, I'm gonna take you guys for a spin because we're definitely doing that now.
I'm so down.
You got winter tires?
Of course. You actually need it.
You do?
Yeah. You can't.
Really?
You can't drive this without it.
Oh, really?
Like it won't function?
No, it will function, but like the car it's too powerful.
Yeah.
Like in the winter, I drive it in chill mode.
Okay.
Because like I don't trust myself with the pedal. That like you're just gonna go.
Yeah.
And last year I booked my tires early, but then it just so happened the first snowfall happened the year I was gonna get the day I was gonna get my tires changed.
Yeah.
I was sliding everywhere, man. They're sport tires, right?
Yeah.
So like lower tread or whatever. So it was bad.
Yeah, I bet. I know. I saw one time this like rear wheel drive Porsche in the snow, and literally at a red light, and then it tried to go and it just went.
Like, no, bro. Honestly, when you're on a car and then like your car just doesn't move the way you want it to, is the scariest thing ever. Like you're like this and you're just going sideways. You're like, oh fuck, bro, it's so bad. And sometimes I'm just a dumbass that like I test it out. You know,
of course you have to. You got to learn, see the limits, see where it gives out.
I know. When I was doing donuts last year and 2 years ago. I was so scared of doing it, but it's so fun, bro. It's so fun.
It's the best.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Dude.
Cool.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Josh.
No, hopefully it was insightful.
Yeah, very much. I learned a lot about real estate.
Learned
a lot about, I mean, it's interesting. I my favorite thing, like when I talk to someone who's because there's a difference between like an entrepreneur who's just trying to like essentially replace their job, you know? And I love that approach. Like if you could have had a salaried job, you just want to do it yourself, love it. But for the people who are really trying to like send it, like I just love to hear, like, you know, what is the long-term goal? What's the vision? Because I understand, you know, grow the business, make money, financially free, but like, how do you see that? Like, what does that look like in your eyes? And that's so interesting to me. So,
and everyone's so awesome. Different, you know, like I feel like I have a pretty soft approach to it.
I think you have much more like, it's not, this company needs to make this much by this time. It's like, I want to be free. That's it.
And honestly, what I've been asking myself a lot lately this year with meeting a lot of people, and I'm like, why do you keep going? Like there's some people who are stupid wealthy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
It's an interesting thought,
that's
right?
The thing is because they like what they're doing, right?
But why?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you like what you're doing. You should just be spending time with your family, traveling, and just
especially
doing your thing.
at the level that they are, because they're usually working, not just doing it, they're like grinding. I know.
But I also never know, bro. And these people that are super successcul could have a fucked up life. That's I hear all the time. The most successful people have like a broken family and whatnot. So maybe that's why they're.
But that's why I'm like, what's it for? I'd never want to be at that point. You know?
Yeah.
Like money's one check, sure.
Yeah.
But everything else is like in pieces. It's like not worth it.